We made USAA Insurance to help you save. Take advantage of discounts when you cover your home and your ride. Discover how we're helping members save at USAA.com/bundle. USAA. Restrictions apply.
The Shark Deck.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. When the Queen was dying, Kate Middleton was unable to be at her bedside, and the reason may be Meghan Markle. Author Robert Jobson told the Daily Telegraph Australia that since the general consensus was that nobody wanted Meghan Markle around, that meant the King also had to exclude Kate to keep things fair. Jobson said, "If Catherine doesn't come, Meghan can't either. It's not appropriate for wives to attend." Harry was insisting Meghan travel with him to Scotland as the Queen's life ebbed away, but the King said it was only for the children and grandchildren to be with the Queen. Privately, he wanted to say Meghan was not welcome, but he couldn't say that to Harry, so he personally intervened and asked Kate to stay back so that it was fairer on Meghan. That has added to the pile of things Kate is mad about when it comes to Meghan. Jobson said, "Kate desperately wants to be there, and that now has eaten Kate up and built resentment towards Meghan." In his book Spare, Prince Harry told his version of events for not wanting Meghan to come. Harry wrote, "He started to lay out his reason, which was nonsensical and disrespectful, and I wasn't having it. Don't ever speak about my wife that way." He stammered apologetics, saying he simply didn't want a lot of people around. No other wives were coming. Kate wasn't coming, he said, therefore Meg shouldn't. In the end, Harry himself didn't make it to the Queen's bedside until after she passed. He claimed he learned about her death via the BBC website. When Harry is in town for the coronation, don't expect to see the brothers hugging. Kinsey Schofield, the host of the To Die For Daily podcast, told Fox News, "We know that palace staff is planning every entry, exit and seat with the battling brothers in mind. The palace's ultimate objective is to avoid conflict." William, without a doubt, was most hurt by Harry's actions. The two have not spoken since the Queen's funeral, and certainly not since the Netflix series or book. And despite Harry telling media outlets that he would only attend the coronation if his family received an apology, my sources say that no such apology has happened in private. Both William and his wife Catherine will tolerate Harry's presence because, despite the bad blood and betrayal, there is a deep love for him and both of them. The same could not be said for Meghan. I think William and Catherine would have had a much harder time navigating Meghan's presence. One version of the coronation seating chart has the brothers sitting far from each other. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams adds, "There is no doubt that relations between William and Harry are at an all-time low. They reportedly are not communicating and are unlikely to be seated near each other at Westminster Abbey. If Harry does, as is apparently intended, depart almost immediately for California after the ceremony, it is highly unlikely that any meaningful interactions with any members of the royal family will occur. They know they can't trust him, and he is well aware as to why." Columnist Louise Roberts tells Sky News Australia that Harry has to come to maintain his lifestyle. They, the Sussexes, have done Netflix, they've done Spare, they've done Oprah, and really they do see the royal family as some kind of giant ATM. So in order to maintain their currency and maintain their lifestyle, Harry, of course, has to go to the coronation. Of course, you'd think he'd want to be there for his father. It's the biggest day of his father's life. But really, what it also provides is the next chapter for the Sussex narrative. Even the commemorative program for the coronation appears to have been a hassle. Due to all the bickering, the book is using an old photo. An 84-page official souvenir, which cost £20, contains a full-page photo of Harry and Meghan alongside Charles, Camilla, and the entire family of Kate, William, and their children. The photo used is from a few years back. In their biography, Finding Freedom, authors Omid Scobie and Carolyn Durand wrote, "The boys can be hot and cold with their father," disclosed a source who gave the example of planning the photo session for Charles' 70th birthday, which they called an absolute nightmare. Neither William nor Harry made much of an effort to make themselves available. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Hey, do you ever wonder what kind of wines the royals drink? I think Meghan probably likes to toss back a couple of Merlots, while Harry's a Pinot Grigio guy. Well, do you really know what kind of wine drinker you are? Are you always trying different wines in search of something you like, only to throw away half-empty bottles? I couldn't tell you how many glasses of red I've had and gone, "Bah, that's not me." Well, I want to introduce you to First Leaf. They're a subscription wine club that helps you finally find your perfect wine every time. Stay tuned, I'll tell you how to get 50% off at tryfirstleaf.com. You just go online and answer some quick questions about your likes and dislikes, and their experts will curate a selection of award-winning wines tailored to your taste, like refreshing rosés, fun sparkling wines, or spring-friendly reds. And they help you by letting you pick your favorite tastes and smells and then match that to the wine. Then you get to choose how often you receive your wine, and every selection is backed by First Leaf's 100% satisfaction guarantee. And because First Leaf cuts out the middleman and works directly with some of the world's foremost wine producers, you get quality wines at prices much lower than you'd pay at the store. I love sharing great wine with my friends and family, and I know you will too. So give First Leaf a try. Head over to tryfirstleaf.com/palace to sign up and save 50% on your first 6 bottles plus free shipping. That's try, T-R-Y, first, F-I-R-S-T, leaf, leaf.com/palace to save 50% on your first 6 bottles plus free shipping. Try firstleaf.com/palace.
I'm Nina Hobson, ex-police detective from the UK. I've worked on every crime mentionable, from murder to kidnap to stalking to fraud. When I left the force, I launched my own investigations firm that soon became a global operation. I'm also a single mother of 2 to 2 members of my team, my son Harrison and daughter Amy. Every week, we'll be getting first-hand accounts from psychological experts, operatives, former criminals, actual victims of the crimes that we investigate, and of course, my very own flesh and blood. From Storic Media, you're listening to Codename Siren, a true crime podcast. Available on YouTube and all major podcast platforms.
The king has personally chosen Coronation quiche as the celebratory recipe and recommended a dish for your personal Coronation Big Lunch. The Big Lunch is one of the events planned for Coronation weekend and will be spotlighting the individual events as the May 6th coronation draws closer. A rehearsal for the coronation was held in the middle of the night this week. Buckingham Palace was illuminated as large numbers of military personnel on horseback practiced part of the procession, which will see King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla make their way back from Westminster Abbey via Parliament Square, along Whitehall, around Trafalgar Square, through Admiralty Arch and down the Mall back to Buckingham Palace at 1 p.m. Jenny Bond, a former royal correspondent for the BBC, believes that Harry will take the Phil Collins at Live Aid solution on Coronation Day. She told GB News, "It's not beyond the bounds of possibility that he will fly straight out after the ceremony and get back to California just about in time to celebrate the late day with his little son Archie, whose 4th birthday it is. He is not going to attend the lunch afterwards, as far as we know, and we're told that maybe a place will be set in case he changes his mind. I don't think he'll change his mind. I actually think he will head straight back to California, probably within a couple of hours, ripping off his suit or whatever he's wearing and getting into his jeans, and off he goes back to California." And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app of choice. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.
I'm Alyssa McKay, star of the new podcast, The Royals of Malibu. I play Ella, a sex worker just trying to survive when I get swept away to the wealth and the drama of Malibu.
You know, you can like something without touching it.
You've made the biggest mistake of your life, Ella Sinclair.
You are a total psycho!
Will Ella find a happily ever after ending? Or will these rich kids destroy her? Fall in love with The Royals of Malibu on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts.